Hello, today we are going to start close reading in the informational text learning target packet. The essential questions for today are number 2, how do strategic readers make meaning from informational text? Number 5, how does interaction with text provoke thinking and response? And number 7, how does the reader's purpose influence how the text should be read? As we work through these essential questions today, we're going to start by our close read with looking at learning target number 3 to determine 2 or more essential ideas in the text. Remember, the central idea is that unifying element that goes throughout the piece. You have to really consider a minimum of 2 central ideas that the piece is fully focused around. The central ideas normally at this point in your reading career are not directly stated in the text. You sort of have to read through the piece as a whole and then consider what are the 2 to 3 most important big ideas, the thesis statement, so to speak, those categories of areas that the text is fully about. And so in the first phase of our close reading, we are going to look for the central ideas present within the text, Life in the 21st Century. As you read through it the first time, you're reading to figure out and closely look for what the main central ideas of this piece are. Once you read through it once, make sure you answer this question for phase 1. Based on the information in the excerpt, what are the 2 central ideas the author addresses in the entire text? Yes, we're only given this excerpt, but this excerpt contains the most important few pieces of what the entire text is about. So you can use these 2 paragraphs to sort of determine what you think the main 2 focus areas of this text are. And I want you to please put those, number them as central idea 1 and central idea number 2 as you answer this phase of the question. In phase 2, we are continuing to look and read through for the central idea of the text. As you read through the second time, we want to think about how each central idea develops with specific claims over the course of the text. So as the author is looking through and figuring out and discussing their central ideas, they ultimately use specific methods, specific words, specific phrases, specific areas in their writing style to communicate these central ideas. Now, as you answer this question, we want to kind of consider what is the author's stylistic thing that they use to communicate the central idea. And as you read in this second phase of the close reading, the same text, and you read through these 2 paragraphs, I want you to think about what you notice the author says as they're communicating that central idea. So for phase 2, I want you to use the 2 central ideas. I'm going to give you feedback, and so obviously you may word your central ideas a little differently than I do, and as long as you kind of get the idea correct with those 2 central ideas in phase 1, you'll get credit. But I really want you to focus in on the feedback I give you in phase 1, the 2 central ideas and the wordage and the way that I communicate them to answer this phase. Then after you read over the central ideas I give you as feedback for phase 1, I want you to reread the excerpt and think about how the author wrote the text. In other words, the way the author wrote it. Now, I don't want you, there is that chart at the end, but phase 3 is going to focus on this chart. Please do not focus on the chart for phase 2. Only look at the stylistic components that the author uses in the paragraphs. So as you look through those paragraphs, I want you to think about, and then after you decide on a specific item that you notice stylistically the author uses, I want you to answer the following question. How are the central ideas developed over the course of the text? Your opening sentence should be, these ideas are developed by the author by what? Describing, finish that sentence. Sharing what? Finish that sentence. Citing what? Finish that sentence. Including, finish that sentence. Giving, using, or listing. The dots mean you must finish the sentence. You don't say describing and then add a text evidence. You should be putting describing, finishing off that sentence in your own words, putting the period at the end of your sentence, and then following that sentence with your cited evidence that supports that stylistic thing the author uses that you noticed. And then that would complete phase 2 of our close read. In phase 3 of the close read, we're focusing on learning target number 18. And learning target number 18 is to analyze the structure the author uses to organize the text by how text features contribute to the whole text. So you want to look at, in this case, the specific text feature of the chart. So we're going to look at the chart here as a text feature. There's multiple charts throughout the text, but we're focusing in on this specific excerpt. I want you to look at how this chart is used to help develop the same central ideas that we discussed in phase 1. So for phase 3, as you're looking at the chart, I want you to think about how that chart in fact connects to the 2 central ideas of this text. Once you think about that and you read through the chart, reread the text itself, just to make sure you're fully understanding and seeing the central ideas for what they are. And then answer the question, how does the information in the chart following the excerpt help to reinforce the central ideas? You want to begin your answer with the following sentence. The chart supports the central ideas of the passage by providing something, listing something, describing something, suggesting something, or explaining something. Remember, the ellipse means you need to finish that sentence off. That's not the end of the sentence. You don't start your evidence yet. Finish that sentence off. What does the chart, in fact, provide, list, describe, suggest, or explain for the central ideas to help explain or support the central idea? Finish that sentence off. Once you do that, I want you to follow that with your cited text evidence, but make sure you're citing the evidence from the chart. That means you could use evidence by putting into words what you notice with the way the chart numbering system is set up. You could put into words the caption for the chart as well as part of your cited evidence, but anything from this chart should be used for your cited evidence for phase 3. So make sure that you're properly analyzing this excerpt of text for our close read as we focus on the central idea, how the author develops it, and how the author uses a chart to develop the central idea. Go ahead and get working.